All right, what's up, y'all? It's your girl Raven with the Real and the Raw, and today we have a special guest. It's my girl Quintoyysha Drake. So listen, we about to give it to y'all real, and we gonna give it to y'all raw. That's what y'all been asking for, and we about to give it to y'all. So what's up, Quintoyysha? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Thanks for
Good,
asking.
good. So if you can tell us about yourself, some accomplishments, tell us a little more about where you're from, and who are you?
Well, my name is Quintoyysha Drake. I'm 37. I'm from Rain, Louisiana. I'm married to Lamondre Drake. I have two daughters, a Shy and a Zadie. Some accomplished that I have achieved for myself. It's a coincidence that this question was asked. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish high school due to things that I went through in life, but I'm honored to say that that was achieved, and I'm looking forward to going back to school. And That's it.
All right, okay. All right. So, and where you from?
I'm from Rain.
Okay, Rain, Louisiana. So, I'm gonna just give us a little snippet of how we met. I was braiding my hair, and of course, Quintasha was doing her nails. And she was running it in the front, and everybody know I'm nosy, I'm messy, not messy in a bad way, but I'm nosy. So I'm like telling my braider, I'm like, man, she said, I can't wait to see when she done, because I want to see her body. No, when she walked in, I was like, wait, what did you go do, girl? Like, are you still 21? But we ran it off from there, and God does everything for a reason. God put people in your life for a reason, and you might not know why at first, but look where we at today. And it was just off of this one rundown. Like, we never hung out together, none of that. And just one day when I thought about this, I'm like, yeah, she a perfect one, because she's so outspoken and just real. So yes, y'all just stay tuned, because we're about to give it to y'all. Um, so our first topic will be about marriage. We want to start with marriage. I've been married 2.5 years. It's going to be 3 July 11th. I've been with my husband. It's going to be 9 years in December. Of course, it's rocky. Some days is good, some days is bad, but we have to maintain it. So if you can just tell us a little bit about your marriage. How long have you been married?
I've been married 18 years, but my husband and I been together 20 and
Okay.
married 18.
Okay, okay. And how did you guys meet?
Actually, we met through a friend of mine that was actually living in Arkansas, and she introduced my husband and I, and we've been rocking and rolling ever since.
All right. All right. So, like, were you in any other serious relationships prior to your marriage?
Yes, before I got married, actually, I've always been in relationships, before that, I was in a relationship for like almost 2 years. Yes.
Okay, okay, okay. And like your biggest argument in the marriage, what is it usually about?
I know in most marriages, finances will be the biggest issue, but honestly, I've never had that problem. It was never an issue about finances. My biggest issue in our marriage was me. I'm big on my love language.
Right.
I'm very big on that, and I think that's the problem me and my husband always had, because I wanted him to do this, I wanted that, and not I'm not speaking on materialistic like for me.
Right.
So that's when we would bump heads a lot.
So, like, and the reason why I asked you that question is because I think my biggest argument in the marriage is cell phone wise. Like, I always got my phone in my hand, and my husband don't like that. Like, it's a problem to him because y'all stay on Facebook 24/7. But in a marriage, like I told him and I explained to him, like, listen, we gotta make this exciting for each other. You don't like me having my phone 24/7. What we can do to stop that? Like, what you gonna do? Because there's some things. I don't like, but we both not on the same page. You know what I'm saying? Right. So that's the biggest like problem, issue in our marriage, which is gonna work. I promise you. So if you can give any advice on marriage, what would it be?
Um, First off, I would say, speaking from my marriage and all that we've been through, I would say, marriage is a give and take.
Right.
Don't ever say that, you think you know your partner, you think you know your spouse, because man, people change every day. We still learning each other, and just keep people out y'all business, and don't live for the media, and I had to learn that the hard way. I was always I'm recovered from being um people pleaser. Trying to make things look good, trying to make things look good for the outside world, but you really wasn't happy.
Right.
So just keep the media, keep the people out y'all business, and most importantly, keep God first. That's the most important thing.
Amen. And I definitely listen. Just to piggyback off of what she said, God have to be first. If you don't believe in God, your marriage won't work at all. You have to put God first. And like she said, social media, when you have big arguments, keep that away from them, because at the end of the day, that's your husband. And if you feel like you gotta expose what's going on in your home, you allow the devil to just corrupt it altogether, and that's what they be wanting. So you gotta stay back from that. And I must say, like, I'm very blessed because even though we have ups and downs, me and my husband, we don't clown on Facebook. Like, y'all would never know that. Like, I'ma still post him for my crush, Monday crush, and we beefing. Like, we ain't even talking. But
that's one thing I can say. I'm blessed in that area. My husband don't believe in social media and Instagram. He's not. He think it's weird for men to be, on that type of.
And look, I'd be like, because my husband, he don't be posting me for my birthdays, Mother's Day, and I'm like, but he don't post the children either. But he's not one to post. Right. He's not about that. And he'd be like, man, people would have never known if I bought a home. If you wouldn't have posted, people wouldn't know what kind of car. Right. It's things you post like that people know about. Like I'm not that type of person. So that's something big. Very big. And I be like, you ain't gonna post me that day?
Right.
No,
I had to, speaking of that, another thing dealing with posting, I'm gonna just speak from like years ago. I would always, my husband would he can buy me a candy. And I'm like, oh, he bought me a candy, but when you're real life happy, you don't even worry about what your mate, because first of all, you don't really want another person knowing what your mate is doing for you. Right. I had to learn that I would post every single thing my husband did for me. And now if people know this, I may just post like if we're on a family vacation or something like that. But I don't ever really bring it to the internet because I really be trying to enjoy my moments. And I'm really sincerely happy in my marriage now. So I'm not out there on social media looking for validation. So I don't have to post him just to prove to the world that we're happy. Right. I'm not doing that anymore. That's the past. And when I was doing that, I really wasn't happy.
Exactly. So, ooh, girl, give it time. Give it time. It's true. All right. So how did you overcome your hardest battle?
Honestly, I'm gonna just say, I'm gonna speak on my hardest battle because that battle is what really changed my marriage tremendously. Like honestly, my hardest battle was in 2019. Literally nobody ain't know what was going on, what happened, because a strong person is hard. And when people think that you strong, it's hard for you to go to them and ask them for advice. Right. But, I just want the world to know, it's okay. You don't have to be strong. You don't have to be strong, because carrying that name and people thinking that you're strong, it makes it hard. So I'm going to just say my hardest battle was in 19, and God, like I couldn't do it without him. My husband and I, we split You know, he went his way and I went, you know, and I stayed over at home, you know, and I was drowning in depression and really like nobody, not mom, not my siblings, like nobody, because it was hard for me to go to them because they always felt like nothing can happen to me. Right. Yes, things can happen to me. You know, I just never had time to express how I ever felt or what I was going through because everybody always rushed me with their problems, you know, and depression was really taking over me. But God, you know, he sent a cousin to me, you know, that I really would never talk to every day that actually had to drag me out my bed and remind me that, Tasha, you haven't got out this bed in 3 days, you know. Right. And I honestly, I had to stop focusing on my marriage and focus on Tasha, what Tasha needed, you know, because sometimes, you know, we go through issues in life in our marriage and we think it's about our mate, but it's really about us. Okay. And that's what I felt like God was dealing with me. So when I started focusing on the marriage and started reading and leaning and depending on God, you know, and making promises to him and trying to live up to those promises, you know, he sent my man back to me, you know, and not when I wanted, because time is not, you know, his time was so much better because in 20 years, my husband has never prayed with me. He never prayed for me. And when he sent him back to me, you know, that's the husband that I have. And I overcame those battles by just praying and crying and making changes in my life. Because I would always sit there and make excuses like, oh, this is my husband. It's you. Right. But really, it was me. I needed to change. I had to tell I tell everybody that I talk to about marriages, you know, I would always tell my husband what he wasn't doing instead of focusing on what I wasn't doing. So when I changed, I didn't have to tell him what he needed to do. He already knew what to do. So now I don't have to tell him what I need. He knows what I need, you know. So I mean, that's the way I overcame that tough battle was just prayers and God and working on Tasha as a person. And now my husband tells me all the time that he's so attracted to my mind because God really dealt with me in that area, and I'm forever grateful.
That's good. And it's crazy because like me, my husband never split. We never been together that long to say we can take breaks and this and that. But I was addicted to the club before I met my husband. I was out every weekend. My husband wasn't in the club. So it's crazy because one day I was fussing with him to go out. I'm like, you go babysit. Okay. He didn't want to babysit. And I'm fussing with him. I'm driving and I'm driving my kids to my mama house. And I'm like, listen, I'm like, we hard down fussing on the phone. And I get to the stop sign and all I hear is, Mom, the lady gonna hit you. And I hit the lady walking. And I'm like, oh my God, like the lady sliding down my hood. And I'm like, what? Like that was my confirmation right there. Like, y'all, since that happened, which the lady was okay. Like I got her up, brought her to the hospital. She was okay, thank God. And like it was crazy because I had like this big cup of liquor in my car, and I'm like, I'm going to jail. You know, she was fine, but since that day, like I ain't never been in a club back to back to back. Now I go randomly. But like that there, God opened my eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to be there. And that was our toughest battle because I was like, man, listen, this is me, this is what I like, and you have to appreciate it. You have to like what I like. But when that happened, y'all, I kid you not, I have never been in a club every weekend back to back to back. And that was because God had to open my eyes and show me, like, I'm gonna give you another chance. But listen, that club thing, you on the phone fussing about it, and look what you could have killed somebody. So I mean, it's stuff like that opened up my eyes, and that was a big battle for me, which now I'm very thankful that I am where I'm at today. With that. So, what was the toughest year in your marriage? How did you survive it?
Well, that's kind of like the question that I answered before, but I guess I have another one. It was so long. I would say another tough year in our marriage was in maybe I would say 2000. maybe 15.
Okay.
That was that was another tough year. But I still was so immature, you know.
Right.
I didn't care as much, you know.
Right.
I did what I mean, I don't know. I didn't even depend on God. So that's why I think he kept constantly coming against us. So that was a tough year for us too. But you know, by the grace of God, you know, we made it, but I didn't care as much as I care now. I didn't know as much as I know now. So, you know, that was another tough year. And again, how I survived it, continued doing what I was doing and you know, we didn't care to communicate about nothing. We just didn't care.
Right.
So how we survived and just kept it pushing.
Right.
Like the old saying, push it underneath the rug. You know, so.
All right. How do you manage being a wife and a mother?
Now, honestly, I feel like that area really took a toll on my marriage too, because honestly, I know in the Bible it's God, husband, kids, and I know that. But when it came to my kids was like I put them before him. You know, plenty of nights I would be with my girls and they're laughing and clowning with them and not paying him any attention. And, you know, it was just all about my girls. So it was hard. And now I leave them in their room. You know, so I just had to learn. I mean, most importantly, it was just about me. You know, I was so big on trying to make my girls help my girls be better than I was. So when I forgot about him, you know, but now, you know, I trust that everything I instill in them you know, it's gonna follow them. So now I can give my husband the attention and time that he needs as a man.
Right, right. Yeah, and like speaking, like I have 6 kids, 4 biological minds and 2 step kids. Which everyone knows, and from age range 15 to 3 years old. So it'd be hard because you want, which is not hard. Let me say this: it's not hard for us because our support team is so big and helpful. Shout out to our mothers. Our my father-in-law. You know, shout out to them because anytime we want to step, we just gotta call them. Not everybody have that available to them, you know. So we're very blessed for that, but we don't do much, honestly. We always home with the babies, and I just be like, man, listen. By the time you feed them, by the time you take them a bath, by the time you do homework with them, all I'm ready for is just to take my bed and go to bed.
Right.
Like I'm like, how can I manage like separating because I still have to be your husband. You know what I'm saying? So it be hard. It's hard. Yes.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I didn't care. You know, at the time I didn't care. Because if you want me to be I did everything you did. I was the man too. You know, I worked, I took care of kids, you know, and I mean, if you wanted me to give you that time, then we had to remove work, you know. So if I had to do, you know, both my girls was in sports, you know, so me ripping and running, I have to be a mom and I know I had to be a wife, but if you wanted me to, I had to work too. So I had to remove work to give you that time. So I understand what you're saying. Like it gets tired.
Yeah, it does. And our baby just finally started sleeping with her big sister. So that's a big help. Like, you know, that helps us a lot. But it's very hard. We got sports too. I got dance, I got basketball, I got everything.
And my advice would be, you know, in a now that I see it, you and your mate time is necessary.
Right.
Is definitely necessary. Like now, you know, me and my husband, now since things are the way it is with us, you know, we just decided to take one weekend out of a month, you know, and go and spend time, you know, just me and him. And I mean, those dates are necessary. And I didn't even look at it that way.
Right.
We really bond and have fun with each other. So yeah, make time. Don't wait long like me.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna have to do. Because listen, I be like in the house. We don't. When I tell you we don't do nothing, like unless it's something like traveling with the kids. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, he's not a outsider. I'm the outsider. But if I ask him, hey, you know, let's do this, we gonna do it. But it's like every blue moon. You know what I'm saying? But I definitely told him like I'm ready. Like we have to explore the world together because life is so short. You know, like you can wake up today, tomorrow be going on, and seconds be going. You know what I'm saying? But that's something that's Lord, listen, that's big. So do you believe in once a cheater, always a cheater?
No.
No.
No, I don't believe it. I do. I mean, people change. I mean, I cheated.
Mm-hmm.
That's real and honest. I cheated, and I would never cheat on my husband again, ever,
Right.
ever. So no,
Right.
people change, and I'm a strong believer that people change, and you don't have to cheat because I would never ever cheat on him again.
Right. And it's crazy that you said that because at the beginning, like I had did the same. And we wasn't even married. Yeah, we was boyfriend and girlfriend, but I had crossed that line and I don't know why I did it. I don't know it's because I felt like he wasn't showing me the love. I don't because like I said, we wasn't doing things. You know what I'm saying? At first when we first got in a relationship, it was just so good. Like everything was just so good. We was going places, we was doing things. Um And then, of course, the children come, so it changes everything because now you have responsibilities. You can't move how you wanted to move. But I don't know what made me do that. And
I know.
what?
I feel like no matter what your spouse, and I know people, as women, we feel like, oh, if whatever he's not doing, somebody else gonna do it. And I used to look at that way,
Right.
But I feel like as women, me now, I love me too much for that, and I don't care what he ain't doing now.
Right.
I'm never gonna look for comfort in another man,
Right.
because I love me. So whatever I feel like now, whatever I feel like my husband ain't doing, and I'm not happy with it, I'll just leave. Like I'm not gonna be with another man or cheat or none of that just to make myself feel good. Like I'm not gonna do it. So I feel like we don't love ourselves enough when we're out here feeling like we need somebody because honestly, we're supposed to make ourselves happy. They just gotta add on to that.
Right.
So no, I mean that's what I think your problem is. Real and raw.
Right. I'm very because after that happened, my husband ended up proposing to me like a month later. And from there, like, it's been like nobody. Like it's not like that. Like we not like I know my vows. When I said my vows, that's what it was and that's what it is.
And that's good because I said mine and I didn't know what it was and what it is.
Yeah,
you learn.
Right.
And I fear God so much now. And I'm not like I said, this what it is, the real and the real and the raw, and I'm gonna be real. In order for me to live my truth, I have to tell the truth, and I feel like it was late for me to learn how important marriages was to, marriages, how important it is in God's eyes. And I feel like God ain't gonna bless a mess. Exactly. So when he decided to change me, change my husband, change our marriage, like we really been blessed. And people would think, and that's how I say, like, you get on this internet, you look at people, you look at their lives, but you really don't know what's going on because people always felt like, oh, Quintoyysha think this. I was so sad. I wasn't happy. But when y'all look at me now, I can honestly say I am happy. Yes. And this don't have nothing to do with what my husband do for me or it's me as a person. So that, like, no. Like we live and we learn, we all make mistakes, and anybody that's sitting behind, like everybody that's watched the show, they done made mistakes. And I feel like you ain't over your mistakes, and you still making them if you can't be honest and say I did it and it's done. It's done. I did it and it's done. Right.
And I was like, me personally, I feel like the world today, people get married based off of a hype thing. They not sitting back and realizing all that comes with a marriage. Like me personally, I feel like I'm here to help my spouse. Not, I don't want you to break your neck all the way. Listen, it's crazy because my husband is a cook. My husband cleans. He does all that. And I feel like I be feeling him at times because all he asks me for is put your phone down. Like
Put the phone down.
That's it. That's it. Like honestly, like real and raw. That's like listen, that's he be like, man, I don't be tripping on nothing. Like I'm the cook, I clean. Like I don't trip on none of that. You know what I'm saying? Which you know, in the Bible it said a woman's supposed to do, you know.
That's the old days. Because if that's
Yeah,
the
it's
case,
different now.
then us women wouldn't have to get up and go to work.
Go to
You know,
work.
that's me. And then too, because like I said, in our marriage, we never had like an issue like us having a problem with financial because he's always been a great provider to us.
Right.
You know, plenty of times I've always felt like, you know, I don't have to go to work because regardless of what, me and my kids gonna be okay.
Mhm.
But now once I start maturing, it doesn't matter that he goes to work every day. I'm going to work too. I'm going to help him. You know, and in our house, we don't have a who cook. If he's home first, he gonna cook. If he cook, he gonna wash his dishes, and vice versa. It's no who do it. No, it's teamwork. You know, we don't live in the old days no more. So that's because I know one time we cooked over at my house, and my sister came, and my husband was actually the cook that day. And I remember her coming, leaning over the bar, and she was like, "Did y'all plan this?" And I'm like, "What you talking about?" She was like, well, how do you know to wash the dishes? Like, y'all did y'all? I'm like, no, we just know. Exactly. I mean, I work just like you. So if I work, cook, you can wash it. We all do the same thing,
right,
you know. So
right. Yeah, and
it's like a give and take, you know.
It is, and that's something that's being like I said, like with the people that I know people that get married off a height.
They do all the time. I see it every day. You know, the internet has made the internet. I look every day, and I hear people say like, "Oh, this person, that person, or her man doing this for her, or this man doing this for this." You know, they living up, and they don't even want the man, but they still there for whatever reason. Girl, I'm not even miserable like that. You know, because I feel like if your man gonna spend all this buku money on you or buy you all these whatever he buying you and he ain't made you a wife yet, y'all entertaining. You know, because I don't want 700 roses. Right. Make me a wife. Yeah. If I mean that much to you. Exactly. You know, so I feel like it's just a hype. I'm a marrier. I mean, I heard people say I'm gonna engage her to shut up. You know, it's just people don't really. I mean, it's just it's social media. Right. Social media. I'm glad I got married. Yeah. In the old days. Yeah. You know, so it wasn't it wasn't all that. And like I said, I'm not gonna sit here and try to make it seem like my marriage was because guess what? We married and we didn't even know what it was because when he asked me to marry, I'm like, yeah, good, I have a wedding. You know, I'm gonna have a wedding. But I didn't really know how important it was. But I thank God that he gave me the chance and fixed my marriage every time. You know, when you're the chosen one, you're the chosen one. Right. They can't take that from you. Right. So I thank God for his grace and mercy that he poured over my marriage because we're here today. And I gotta honestly say in 18 years, these past 7 has been besides that one time in 19, it has been amazing. So I just say to any married couple that's out there, don't always take your battles as an end because we have always evolved after a battle. After a battle, we have always evolved. And this here, like, is the best. That's good. And advice for me as well, because you see, listen, when I got engaged, the day after I was planning a wedding, and I had about 40 people. And my husband had like probably 3 or 4 people because he doesn't interact with people like that. You know, he don't mingle. And he was like, man, this is the day after. Like, what's going on? And I was like, yeah. Oh, I was bragging on Facebook, showing, you know, like just feeling like I had to do that. And when it all boiled down, and I was like, you know, I'm so thankful that COVID came around. Not thankful because it killed some people, but because that hurt. But in my household, I was thankful because it opened up our eyes tremendously. We didn't get married with all those people. We got married. I had 2 bridesmaids and I had my children in the wedding. And we got married in my mama's backyard. And I was like, because my husband was like, listen, all that money we about to spend is COVID.
people ain't gonna be able to mingle with each other like that. We can save that money and buy us a house. And I'm like, okay, that's cool with me. Every person wants that big dream wedding. Every girl wants that big, beautiful dream wedding at first. But what's for you was for you. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, okay, listen, if we gonna make it happen, that made sense to me.
I had two. I had like 24 people in my wedding, 24 to 30 people in my wedding. My wedding was so ugly. It was so old.
Right.
It was, back if you look at the nice weddings now, it was so old. I mean, the girls look good. It was a fun wedding, but it wasn't all the nice things that they have now.
Right.
But so many people that got married after me, they had beautiful weddings. So I always say now, small wedding, big marriage.
Yes.
Big wedding, small marriage.
Yes.
So that's what people have to realize. I mean, who you doing it for?
Right.
For this to last or just for you to entertain people? Because I think you put everybody in your wedding. Girl, have some people I don't even talk to no more, girl.
Right.
So,
and that's what because listen, after this, y'all, when I tell you we had the most, like, the wedding was so fun and ratchet. Listen, it was so fun. It was ratchet. And
mine too.
Girl, I was just like, people was like, we're not gonna be married again. Like, we will be renewing our vows. I had 35 years, but I think I'm gonna do 10. Because our kids will be old enough. My little girl was just a baby, so the baby couldn't even walk in our wedding. She had to carry her. So we're gonna renew eventually and do something big. You know what I'm saying? If God stays the same. But I just felt like where he come from is so strong. Coming from relationships I done been in, you know what I'm saying? Like, prior to him, I had kids with someone that was way older than me and treated me like, yeah, I'm just anything. So I never thought that nobody else would ever, after I had my first two kids, like, nobody would ever want me. You know what I'm saying? Because or treat me how I'm being treated now.
Right.
But he has a mindset, like my husband has a mindset, and it's not for y'all to go on his inbox, so you hear me? It's not for that, but it's just to tell you how, like, they have real men out there. Because, I see posters that cross, where's the real men, this and that. They have them. They still are here, honestly.
It has real men out there.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to just change.
Yeah.
Change who
you are.
Yeah. And like women like certain men. But if it ain't working out with them men, then you need to find you another.
Yes, another man. All right. So did you create boundaries to protect your marriage?
Yes. Once we worked on our marriage, and because we ended up, like I said, we renewed our vows. We were gonna have something big. We renewed our vows in 20. That happened in 19. We renewed our vows in 20 when he came back, when everything worked out. We did it private, just me, him, and my girls. And we set boundaries because I wanted to please everybody, but I was actually hurting him, and we set boundaries to where, if one say no, and we don't come to agreement, it's not being done.
Right.
It don't matter who it is, who want help. We put our phones up when we go to bed. We do that. That's something we did because I like social media too. I'm not gonna say just to see, but now I just be on the explore page trying to get ideas of different things. But yeah, we set the phones down, and have time with each other, and that's the boundaries we set. Like, don't we're not trying to please nobody else.
Right.
It's all about us.
Exactly. With us and not like with our marriage, we don't have passcodes on our phones. That's something that we made a promise to each other, which we don't go through each other's phones, but we don't have passcodes either.
We have passcodes. But my husband is he don't do the phone checking thing.
Mine either.
And I don't do that either. I mean, we have the only thing we, like, me, him, and my girls on 360 app, we do that, but we don't do the phone thing. I don't check his phone. He don't check mine. We don't I mean, that's crazy because I feel like what God wants to be revealed is gonna
It's
be
gonna be
revealed. I'm
revealed.
not looking for it,
Exactly. Um, that we have that, and another boundary that we said basically, like at night, we put our phones down. I definitely put my phone down at
I'm
night.
so happy.
I do, and it's crazy because this past weekend that just passed, we had already been taught the same thing, and I was like, this week I feel like I was like, you know what? He had surprised me for my birthday, and so Mr. San we went to San Antonio together. He had surprised me, and I made a promise to him on that trip that I would put my phone down, and he'd be like, 8 years like years later, you're still doing the same thing. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, okay. So this past week, I can honestly say that um I did work on putting my phone down. You know what I'm saying? And it's been different. And he be like, if you notice, like I don't. He's like, I be wanting to come home and talk to you about some stuff, but I can't because when I look up, you in your phone. And I'm like, that's a problem on my end. That's a big problem. And it's not that I'm cheating. I'm not doing none of that. I'm just into social media and I'm just on Facebook. I'm on Facebook, TikTok, Snapchat, not on Instagram. We made a promise not to go on Instagram, and that's what it is. And which I had started on Instagram, but I did remove it just because that's something we made a promise to ourselves that we will not. He don't like it. We're not gonna do that. I'm like, okay, cool. But I've been working on it, and like you said, you have to work on yourself too. You want him to do things, but I have to work on myself as well.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, because there be things I be wanting to do, but you be messing up the mood in the week.
Right. Just like you said, he don't like to do this. He don't like to do that. See, my husband was saying he don't have friends. You know, he talks to guys here and there, but he don't do social media. But I like social media. But excuse me. Once like the thing is because I would be like my husband don't like to do this because he's not going to the club. I think the last time my husband ever been in the club probably when we got married. Right. I mean he don't do the club thing or me and him probably went to a bar or something. But like once you change, I promise you, he gonna change. Because my husband was set in his little bubble too. Wouldn't want to go nowhere. Now he's up with me. Like we do it. Like I don't have to beg him to change no more. Right. So like I said, if you just give him that, put that phone up, give him that time, and that person that you think just want to stay in the house, maybe he would start doing things. Right. That's how it is with me and my husband now.
Right. And what was y'all like first impression when y'all met each other?
Well, he told me I was fine. He said I was fine, and I did not like him. Again, we as women we have. I met my husband. It was around September. I remember everything. It was like September 23rd, 2002, and I promise I did not like him. Right. I did not like him at all. I was so bad. And I was being disobedient. So I left. I went with my friend and we went way to Fort Smith, Arkansas. And I like when I seen him, I'm like, nah, if he ain't that nigga. Right. I was like, nah, he ain't that nigga because I was so used to having, big dog, yeah, and gangster saying, shit. I didn't really like him. I ended up going, with him and my friends to Arkansas, and I stayed up there. And I tried to make myself like him as much as it just wouldn't come. Right. But then he would work 21 and 7. And I remember him leaving to go to work. And at the time, I was so bad. I was out here fighting, doing the most, And I remember sitting on the stairway one day because I was 15 when I left with him. Trying to be grown, girl. Right. And I remember he left to go to work, and at the time, I was giving trouble, to my mom, and just like I said, I hear like they say thugging. Right. So I sat there one day and I realized, I'm like, maybe this is what God wants for me. So when he came back, I was actually at his apartment and I started opening up a little bit, realize just trying to be mature, and I fell in love over the time, and that's honestly,
Right.
honesty. I fell in love over time, and now I realize that he was heaven sent. I mean, he changed my life so much. It took a while,
Right,
but he did, and I'm thankful for him. So no, at the beginning, I ain't like him.
Right.
No.
And
he wasn't rough enough.
Right.
He wasn't rough enough, but that's my baby, and I love him.
Right.
And I'm thankful for him.
And that's the thing, like with me, my husband, girl, my cousin was dating, was married to his cousin, and at the time, but I had seen him in a gas station. I was in the store, his favorite store, still to today, and I had stopped to the store before I even knew who he was. And girl, I'm in the store, and I'm like, he opened the door for me, and I'm like, thank you, and he was like, you can go. Okay, I'm like. So I get back in the car, and my mom and my aunt in the car with me, my nanny, and I was like, they said, what you waiting on? I said, for the dude to walk out. I was like, you look good. And y'all, like, kid do not. He stared at me, like, he walk out. And I'm still in the car, I'm in the driver's seat, waiting for him to approach me, never approaching me. And I'm driving slow. Like, I'm driving on slow because I know you're going to stop the car. Don't play with me, bro. Girl, he didn't stop it. He ended up asking my cousin about me and hooked him up, and my cousin hooked us up. They had did a bet on me, honestly, like $11 bottle or some kind of drink or some liquor. So I told my cousin, how you sell me for $11, girl? But that's how we met or whatever. And from there, like, I was like, okay, yeah, like we did our first date. We went to eat to Chili's. And he was like, what do I order? Like, he didn't even know. And I'm like, well, I don't know because nobody ever tried me. So we both was like, low. And I was like, like the music he would listen to was like August, Alcina. And our favorite song is Kissing Me with Tattoos. Like, and I was like, you listen to. He ended up putting on Boosie one time, when we was girlfriend boyfriend. I was like, I didn't think you listened to Boosie. I didn't know you knew Boosie. Right. But him having all the tattoos, you can never just think of somebody so gangster by their appearance. You know what I'm saying? Because the music he would listen to surprised it. Like, wait, this is what you listening to? You ain't hard enough to feel, right? But it wasn't that, like, and God showed me like that. Like, that's for me. Like, I love him to death. Yes. And from now on, like, hey, that's for me. That's for me. Let's see. So we already went over this one. Do you have any other suggestions for marriage, relationship? No. My biggest thing is, I feel like if you go do it from the bottom of your heart, because you have to realize that you have to live with this person for the rest of your life, if that's what it's meant to be. You will go through ups and downs, and if a divorce is called for, do that, because you still have to think about yourself. You have to, worry about self. Everything is self. You know what I'm saying? So don't do it because the next person doing it. Don't get married because you're trying to make someone else mad. Like, you have to do it because this is what you really want. Um, I've been through so many relationships, and I'm just 30 years old, and I can honestly say, like, this has been the best. Like, I love my husband. I'm thankful that God sent me my husband. And like I said, we have ups and downs, but that's for us. If nobody's perfect, and that's another thing. Don't ever think that somebody on here has the perfect relationship.
Nobody puts their downfalls on real people, though. Yes. For me, because like I said, I've been married. My marriage has never. I never hit social media. Right. You never gonna know if we good, if we bad.
Exactly.
You're never gonna know because I'm gonna handle mine behind my doors.
Because that's only gonna allow the devil to come in and push you out. And that same person that you've been into on Facebook or Instagram is gonna be the same person that's gonna be in your husband or your wife inbox. Because they want to get in there, because they want to see what the
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta stay consistent. And like I said, as y'all heard on the Real and the Raw, it's some things I gotta work on in my marriage. So like no one is perfect. We just gonna give it to y'all real and we're gonna give it to y'all raw. So next topic we're gonna come on is Brazilian butt lift. Y'all get ready. Give me 1 second. Let's take a break. All right, yo, what's up? It's your girl Raven with the real and the raw, and our second topic will be on Brazilian butt lifts. You heard me, Brazilian butt lifts, BBL, and we're gonna give it to y'all real, and we're gonna give it to y'all raw. So nobody feel offended about nothing because we just giving it to y'all the real. All right, right. So my first question. So you did do a BBL, correct?
Yeah.
What type of surgery did you have?
I did the BBL. I had little hips that I had a complete tummy tuck.
Okay, okay. So most women get BBLs to attract a high value man. Do you think that's true or false?
Um, I would say yeah.
Okay.
I know I didn't, but
Right,
yeah,
right.
I would say yeah.
Okay. And I think well, I never did it, so I don't know. But I feel like that's what it is as well because they want the man with the money. They want the money makers to look at them, and you know what I'm saying. Yes, yes. Um. So most women that's doing the BBLs, do you think that they're doing it for themselves or for the hype?
Honestly, I think most women, majority of all of them do it for the hype. I really do. And I say that because that's all you really see is them. The ones that do it for the hype, you gonna always see them take an ass shot, you know, and yeah, to be better than the next woman. I mean, yeah, it's definitely for the hype. I mean, I didn't do it for the hype.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I didn't do it for the hype. I did it for me because honestly, I didn't really a BBL didn't cross my mind until after I started losing the weight and I had all the extra excess skin. I mean, when I started my weight loss journey, I was at 222, between 222 and 224. Nobody didn't believe it, but it was there.
Right, right.
And I started losing the weight. My goal weight was 160. The day of surgery, I was actually 160. But I had like skin off my butt, you know, and it made me even feel worse than when I was actually big, you know, and stomach just was like disgusting. And of course I had I had a C-section that kind of I did the butt cut, so that was worse too. So I started feeling so much more insecure with my body once the weight, the skin started hanging on my butt and stuff. So that's when I decided that I wanted the BBL, but it was never to fit in with the next with the hype or try to be better than the next woman or whatever. So, but again, I think a lot of them do it for the hype.
Right, right. Me personally, because listen, I'm big and I be playing a lot about it. I be like, I book my flight to Miami. You know, I be playing. I'm scared. Me personally, I'm scared to do it. Based on all of the things like you hear, like can happen to you, like but I know me and you spoke before, and you said that nobody talk about like the process of when you get there.
The mental part.
Yeah, you have to be ready mentally and physically. You told me so. Yeah. And why is that?
Again, when I started asking. I mean, it's no wrong question. I mean, you want to know, you have to ask. I asked around. I Googled up a lot. I got in this group where the doctor that did my surgery, you know, he would put all the women. People would ask different questions. But again, no one never talked about the mental part of the surgery. And I remember, I think it was like maybe two days or 3 days before I was actually catching my flight to leave. And I remember getting in the group, finally asking a question. I never asked a question in the group. And I asked them like, how did you guys have anybody in here did the BBL, the hips, and the tummy tuck all together? Like, how did y'all sleep? One girl replied, on my knees, and I was like, oh my God. You know, I didn't inbox and ask her no questions, but when me and my husband flew out to Mexico, where I did my surgery at. I remember laying in the bed. My anxiety started going up like very bad. I woke up my husband and I'm like, baby, we gotta go. Like, I can't do this. I started having dreams. And I kid you not, um I never Googled up the actual doctor. So while I'm laying in the bed, I actually read that the doctor that did my surgery, somebody actually died. So my anxiety like went up, and I'm like, baby, I can't do this, And he was like, Tasha's gonna be okay, blah blah blah. So the next morning, I went, and it went good. It was 5 star. I paid a little extra. I slept in Castillo Dollhouse. I stayed a long time because I wanted to make sure that I was taken care of. That was the most important thing. I think I spent probably more money when I came home than actually there, to do the surgery.
And I know I spoke with like one of my friends that did it, and she explained to me that she had Wayne, and she said when I woke up in a room, she said when I first went to do my surgery, I'm in a gown, and when you wake up from the surgery, you're in a room with a bunch of girls. She said she was in a room with a bunch of girls, and everybody was crying.
Oh no!
And she was like, it just made me cry, And I'm like, wait, what the hell? Like,
well, where we stayed at, no, I didn't even see nobody. Like, it was actually just me and my friend and my husband, and we were the only ones in there. And like, you didn't see none of that. It was very like they were very professional. Like, I didn't see anybody bleeding or hollering or crying. I didn't see nobody.
Right. In the healing process, like after surgery, and what's the risk, like, because no one ever speaks about that.
Well, for me, I do take warfarin, which is a blood thinner. So I actually was taking a chance. I take warfarin every day, because I have a history of blood clots. So every time I get cut on, sometime I form a blood clot, but by the grace of God, I didn't. Thank God for that.
Yes.
I started taking injections in my belly every day. A blood thinner in my belly, which was heparin, the same medicine. The healing process, honestly, scale 1 to 10, 10. For all that I did. I was scared to get in a car. Me and my husband drove to Houston to catch my flight. Well, let me speak from there. When I woke up, the surgery was already done. And my friend that was over there with me, she was walking around doing everything, doing regular, and I'm sitting in a recliner, and you get your massages and stuff. My blood pressure dropped like lower. I think my blood pressure went from like 50 over 60.
Wow.
Well, and I couldn't hear my husband, and I remember like hitting my ear because I could see his mouth moving, but I couldn't hear him. But they found me some drops that they would put on my tongue. I think it was my anxiety, me just worrying, and I know that I didn't want a big ass. Like, that was my main thing. And so my friend told me, she was like, when they took you upstairs, I could hear your husband saying, "Will y'all give my wife the butt?" She asked, because I actually brought my picture over there. I didn't want nothing when I'm standing up to make me look all outside, and like I didn't want that look, But the doctor did tell me, he was like, the butt that I wanted, he was like, you really, really thin. He did say that. He was like, you really, really thin. And but he went on, and he was able to give me the butt that I desired. But I remember standing up. I remember them finally getting me to do a massage, and I turned around and I look, and I'm like full of blood in the back, and my butt was like huge. And I'm like, the lady thought that I was happy that butt was big. And rule number 1, don't sit on your butt.
Right.
So I'm like, I looked, and she was like, don't get happy. That's not your butt. I said, I don't want it, because I'm gonna sit on it. If it gotta be like this, I'm about to sit on it. I don't want it big like this. And every time it was time for me to have massages, I literally, my blood pressure would drop, my anxiety would go up. Like I said, back on the Houston drive, my husband had to stop every 10 minutes. I was driving on my knees, sitting in the back. Like it was bad. But everything they would tell my husband that would make the process better, he was ordering for me. Like I think I got back home, I probably had like 20 Amazon boxes. He ordered me a bed. The bed was very comfortable. The medication kept me together, but like I said, I had a muscle repair that was also done too with my tummy tuck. My muscle repair failed because I was in so much pain. I would be crawling on the floor to try to like get up. Hard to use the bathroom. It's bad, and people would tell me all the time, like, you just feeling like that because you're when you're gonna start looking better and feeling that you're gonna like it, but I regret it the whole time. I'm just starting to be happy because it's over now. But I regretted it the whole time because I felt like it wasn't worth the pain. It was not worth the pain.
I'll say that's so funny because my girl was hurting bad. I mean, I know like basically like, people, and that's another thing, people. How can you tell somebody when do they body? Let's give it a time, really, because
I mean, you know them.
Yes, you have to know them from when you grew up with them, so you know exactly how they look, and
that's just like you know them. I mean, you can't lie. I feel like what is to lie about? I mean, you want to just wake up fine. I mean, what is to lie about? Just be honest. I think the most people just want everybody to just feel like. They just want to feel like they that bitch. And I'm just sorry. Like, if anybody asks me if I had surgery, yes, I had surgery. Now, I'm going to be honest. Like, a lot of people that look at me, and if we're just talking, like, they really look at me and be like, you never said it. I want to know you. But yes, I had surgery. If you want to know my doctor, I'm going to tell you my doctor. If you want to know the price, I'm going to tell you the price. If you want to know what I did, what I used to recover, I'm going to tell you that. It's nothing to hide.
Exactly.
It's nothing to hide,
Exactly. And you mind standing up to show them?
Oh yeah.
Cause you couldn't even tell. You would be able to tell. Like she looks so natural, and that's the thing. People, I feel like if you go 2 or 3 times,
nothing I saw went twice came back looking normal. That's what I always say. Nothing I mean, even me. Like I'm not gonna sit here now. One thing I'm gonna say that people don't realize, like people tell me like. I have a big butt. I really don't think I have a big butt. Fajas form your butt. And out of your faja, your butt is not that big. I still haven't pushed because, of course, I didn't do lipo on my belly because I had a tummy tuck, which they, I am able to go back to do the lipo on my belly. But if I had that big stomach that I walked around here with all this time, I feel like I'm gonna work out and do what I have to do. I'm not going back and do a surgery. To be better than that. I'm just work. And
you have to work out, right?
You have to. I do. I feel like me working out has formed my body better. Not better than the next woman, but better than what it was before. Like even after the surgery. Like I work out, my little hips, I just want to keep everything nice.
Right. Let's see what else we have. What is your advice, like to anyone that's thinking about going or is scared to go, or just
if you're scared, don't go. But if you want to, for you to feel better, because it does make you feel like a new person, then go. Just find the right doctor. Take care of yourself. Just know that it's money when you come back. I mean, I feel like everybody should know that it's very, because I know my nurse, thank you, Sadie, she would come over at my house and massage me and take care of me because I was scared to get in a car. So, she would come over at my house, massage me and take care of me over there. So, like I said, I feel like if you want to do it, just do it for you. Because I feel like if you do something to prove a point or be better than the next woman, I don't know. You might not come looking right.
Because I mean, I don't know. We so behind on time where people been getting BBLs. I didn't know nothing about that until the PPP loan came out, and then everybody was coming back fine, and then I'm like, what's going on? Like, what's happening here? You know what I'm saying? So, me personally, like loving hip hop. It's a lot of them cons out here, but you ain't got love and hip hop money. You know what I'm saying? You gotta, like I said, I call my husband all the time. I tell him I'm going, and he'd be like, if them children college tuition's paid for, go ahead and do what you gotta
Yeah,
do.
and that's what my husband told me too. When I said that I wanted it, he supported me, and he literally stayed home a month to take care of me, so he supported it. And honestly, like, all I ever wanted to do, like I said, I was fine when I met him,
Right.
and all I ever wanted to do was just get enough to dress for my husband again, feel sexy for him. And I feel like he didn't say like, oh, you don't look right or anything like that, but I honestly think that he's very attracted to me now. He's very, and I like it.
Right.
And people, and I say that to say this generation, this world is so crazy because I done heard so much things like, oh, since Tasha had her BBL, she's gonna cheat on her husband, or he gonna have this or that. But honestly, and I know, like you said, that question about attracting different men, it does, because Lord, I have to show my husband, how much men like really come at me now, like in my DM, men that have women, men that in my hometown that been knowing me, like I get that attention now, but it don't move me, because even though people feel like I'm changed, I probably changed because of my body now. But honestly, I did change. I really did, to a better person.
Exactly.
Because this body belongs to my man. And I feel like when people were saying like I was gonna cheat because of this or that, it's just stupid shit. I feel like now that I love me, I love him correctly. Right. So that this body ain't nothing to me. Like it don't make me, this is his.
Right.
So no, it's not gonna change who I am.
Exactly. No. That's like that. Like Mike Jones. Back then they didn't want me. Now I'm hot. They all on me. So, and that's how you basically
it is. It has changed. Like I'm not saying like guys never tried. Yeah. But now it's like it's bad. It's bad. But I'm gonna just say this. I always tell my husband this. I'm like, I don't care, because I want them to say like, she ain't doing that, because I'm not. I'm not. I'm so on me and my man.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not worried about that. Y'all probably would have had a better chance coming in the bed.
Yeah.
Right. I love my husband, and I would never let this body change who I am. Right. I'm stuck on me right now.
Right. That's awesome. So listen on.
Ooh,
girl, we be having some tricks out here. Yeah, I'm telling you, but
Facebook, because I know like it took me a while to like post myself. When I first had my BBL, it took me a while. Because my most important thing to me was healing. I wasn't trying to just show off, or I wanted to heal. And I think I had my surgery. Well, I had my surgery on January the 3rd, and I didn't post a picture until like around February, around the parade in Lafayette. I didn't post a picture because I wasn't trying to show off or anything, and a lot of people, this how I know people have to realize that this social media is so fake. Like people, when I would post, about, in my close friends on Instagram, how I would keep them updated, through my whole process, but I couldn't, because I was in so much pain. I couldn't keep up with everybody. I couldn't tell them anything. So people were telling me, they would send me pictures of people that they on Facebook gassing up. So when y'all would send me and be like, don't come looking like this person. And I'm like, but y'all just was saying this person look right, And then when I post my picture, y'all telling me that I look good, but y'all might be lying to me. So y'all had me nervous. But being that I didn't feel like I needed someone to tell me that I look good, I didn't worry about it, because they be gassing up people, and they send me the same pictures telling me like, don't come back looking like her, don't this, and that's fake to me.
Yes.
It's so fake. Yes. And I didn't really care if they like the body or they don't like the body, because I love the body. It ain't what I had before.
Exactly. Exactly. Listen, you have to be strong-minded, and you have that mind. You like a strong person. Like I said, just running it with her from day one. She was real, and I loved it. And we wouldn't even text each other on a daily basis. I think text her one time after that.
A prayer. Now you can get a prayer out of me.
Yes.
You can definitely get a prayer out of me.
Yes. And like I said, God does everything. He put people in your life for a reason. So our interview will be concluded. And I definitely appreciate you so much.
Thank you.
I got something
Thank
for
you.
you.
Thank
I ain't
you.
get a gift bag. Y'all don't talk about me. I ain't get a gift bag, but this
It's
is
okay.
something
It's
for you.
okay. It's okay.
I appreciate you, and I appreciate you motivating me and just believing in me with starting this. So, got her a real in the raw t-shirt. Yes, y'all stopping at about it. She can tell y'all. Drop the link. Yes, y'all follow because this is something that's so big to me, and I feel like we're gonna do so good. We gotta influence each other. We gotta keep it real because the world we live in today is like so fake. Somebody got to speak the real, whether y'all like it or not. So that's what I'm here for. I'm gonna give it to y'all real, and I'm gonna give it to y'all raw. Until next time, peace out.